Dzień dobry. Assalamu alaikum. Ni hao. Hola. Ciao. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Ken at 10. How are you doing today? Haven't been before? Welcome along. Every day at 10 o'clock, I come on, chat about property and things. We're James Alexander Estate Agents based in SW16. And this morning's weather looks like it's going to rain. It was quite mild this morning, actually, quite nicely mild. Looks like it's going to rain. Now, it's Tuesday, and on a Tuesday, I like to do Ask JA Tuesday, where a question is asked and we do our best to answer. And this week it comes from Jane. Hi, Jane. Thanks for the question. And it is, how do I choose a good letting agent in my area? Very good question, Jane, and not an easy one to answer because it falls into several brackets, actually. So let's run through them. There are so many estate agents in the UK that cover lettings, and all of them have their own pet phrases for the special services they offer. But roughly broken down, they fall into three areas. Let only, this is where an agency will just introduce a tenant to you. Letting and rent collection, where they'll take the references, move the tenant in, collect the rent, but not carry out maintenance and inspections. And full management, which is what we mostly do, where we inspect the property, collect the rent, and deal with maintenance issues. They're the three areas. And then we come on to the little nuances within that. So there's over 13,000 letting agencies in the UK. Many of them will claim they offer a superb service in the UK. And I have to tell you, here's the news, big corporates don't do this well. If you look on Google, look at feedback on all the large letting agents, you'll find lots of negative stuff. And that's because lettings and management requires an attention to detail that cross-departmental companies can't really handle very well. You need to be on the spot, in the office, where it's going on, so you can deal with any problems as and when they come along. And so local knowledge comes into this too. The key first thing you need to do is find a good quality tenant. And that's not as easy as it may sound. You know, I was speaking to one of our landlords yesterday who said he was grateful that he'd had no issues in terms of rent collection and arrears right now. And I said, well, thanks. I'm glad you're happy. And of our landlords, of which we have hundreds, we only have one serious arrears case right now. And he asked me what I put that down to. And I said, well, you know, we're really careful with referencing, but it's more than that. It's what I call nous. You know, the ability to spot a fraud from a distance, regardless of referencing. It's not about color. It's not about race, never. And I think a lot of landlords actually make the mistake of distinguishing on that basis, and it's the wrong thing to do. We have tenants of all races and creeds that are fantastic tenants. The key thing is to have two ears and one mouth when showing a property. That's the first thing. What I mean by that is too many agents try and sell the viewing. Oh, you know, isn't it fantastic here and everything else? When you should be listening to the circumstances, finding out about the people. Who are they? What do they want? How many people are going to live there? Are they talking about beds going into the lounge? You know, that sort of thing. And a combination of that now backed up by really good quality referencing and then a rent guarantee insurance. They're the keys to getting good quality tenants and protection against one of undoubtedly the toughest times for tenants and landlords in our history. And it may get worse before it gets better. So it's really important that tenant selection is put at the forefront of everything. And that requires an agent that's not actually just looking out for getting a quick fee, but actually is in this for the long haul with you, wants to be your long-term partner in lettings. And that's why instead of charging huge upfront fees, we charge monthly percentages so that landlords know that when they get paid, we get paid. They don't get paid, neither do we. And I think that's really critical in this day and age because too many letting agents, in my experience, are just out for the money. You know, I had a guy come to me yesterday. If you're watching wow. And he was saying that he'd been offered what they call a rent guarantee scheme, where a local letting agent had rented his property out and then went on to take the rent and not pay it on to him. Now, poor old R has now found out that that letting agent has gone personally bankrupt. And he's now fighting through the courts to retain control of his property, which is currently in the hands of a bankrupt tenant, which is his letting agent. Yeah, I know. Wow. And, you know, he's asked for my help and I've recommended a very strong solicitor that we know that will do their best. But frankly, it's an absolute mire out there. It's a nightmare. You know, you need to go to an established letting agent. How do you work out who's established, who's good, who's local? Google, number one. All Agents, number two, a website that reviews local estate agents. Number three, make sure they're a member of ALA, the Association of Residential Letting Agents. That's Property Marks ALA, because we qualify by exam and we're fidelity bonded. The fidelity bonding is so important. And the reason fidelity bonding is important is because if your agent is, and they don't pay your rent, then the bonding will cover that amount. Or if that agent goes bust, indeed, you're still covered. So, people think, oh, I must go with a big corporate because financially I'm more secure. And that's not true if the agent's got proper fidelity bonding. And we have, as any ALA agent. So I think having an ALA agent is really key because they understand the market, they understand the law, and they're fidelity bonded. Really critical, that. And then it's about being local, because a lot of the things can't really be done remotely very well. For instance, if you want to get a plumber in Norbury and you're being handled from the corporate head office of lettings for your company in Southeast 24, it's unlikely that you can get someone over there quickly, efficiently, or cheaply. You're probably using someone from another area or from a very large company, which in the end is going to cost the landlord a lot more money. And you need that local advice and the trust and reliability and dependability of agents that trust their contractors, so that when you're told there's a problem, there really is a problem, and that the agent isn't profiteering from whatever that issue is. We take no commission from our contractors. We only ask one thing. If something goes wrong, you go back, you fix it. And if contractors do that, then we will use them consistently. They let us down, then they're fine, they drop like a stone. And they don't want that, because the volume of work we can provide to them is far more than any individual could. And therefore, for them, it's their bread and butter too. And good contractors appreciate and respect that. And they become part of our team, and we love it that way. So really important to understand where the agent is, that they've got boots on the ground, so to speak. They understand their market. They're well established. And one of the things that, because we've been here so long, sometimes we can look at tenants and say, yeah, we know your friend. We remember what happened there. And they don't even know we remember them, So really important that your agent knows locally what's going on and knows people, and it can save you a lot of time and hassle. It's not all about getting the fastest tenant in the door. That's often a mistake. Quite often, the credit checks and rent guarantees are important, but they're not the only thing. Yeah, most agents will say, yeah, we do a credit check, we offer a rent guarantee. Delve a bit. What do they mean by that? Are they guaranteeing the rent themselves? Can you guarantee that? Dive into their history. How long have they been established? Because most modern letting and estate agencies won't survive this pandemic and won't be here, and your property still will be. Where will the keys be? Where will the tenants be? Where will the rent be being collected? Really important you consider these things when thinking about renting. And also now, with the amount of legislation around, it's very likely, it's surprisingly likely, that something's been missed. Every time we look at a landlord who's coming over from another agent, we normally find that there's a little detail that's been missed, such as, have they got an electrical safety? Have they got gas safety? What about the energy performance certificate? Is there a landlord license? All these things can trip you up if you ever need to serve notice, not least having a rent guarantee in place. That's really important too. So when you're choosing a letting agent, go with your gut feeling. Bear in mind, this is a big thing. This is a situation where you want people on the ground. You want to know who you're working with. Corporate head offices cannot do this. You need local on the ground people. You need to know that they're there for you and that they've got good systems in place where their tenants can report issues online 24 hours a day, explaining what the problem is so that contractors can be allocated there and then. And if there's a problem overnight, someone's there on hand to deal with it as quickly as possible. So the answer to the question is, do your research and start that research with Google. Don't look for the big corporates, because you'll end up with a head office and a massive staff turnover. And Dave that you were working with last week is no longer at the company or the branch, or he is at the branch, even worse, and now you're at another branch which deals with rent collection. Oh, sorry, we've got to pass you now to the other branch which deals with maintenance. You just don't need that. It's not a good thing, and you'll get frustrated by that very quickly. And most importantly, you need transparency and honesty. One of the things we always say to our landlords is, if you're not sure about the contractors that we use, we're more than happy to use people that so that you can have 100% peace of mind that these contractors coming along are going to be requesting a reasonable fee for a reasonable day's work, and that you trust what they're saying to be true. Any large repairs, we always report to the landlord and make it their choice as to who to use. We report the facts. We've got contractors we regularly work with that we trust and respect, and they trust and respect us, but they know that if the landlord wants to use their own contractor, then that's just something that happens. And over the years, that's how we built up our contractors as well, is by using our own recommended from our landlord contractors, and they become our clients as well. our contractors rather, on a long-term basis. So when selecting a letting agent, in summary, it's not like selecting a sales agent where it's all about the volume. It's all about the, getting someone quickly and securing a buyer really quickly. With a tenant, you can secure a tenant too quickly, and then the checks are missed, the attention to detail is missed, and that's never good. So make sure you select a letting agent that has that attention to detail, that is fidelity bonded, that takes out rent guarantee on your behalf where necessary, does the credit scores, gives you their own point of view, and has a good database of existing properties, so that they've often got tenants that are coming out of one address that they already know are secure and good rent payers. And so literally when moving in a tenant, sometimes we can be 100% confident in our tenants because they've been working with us for years, have been renting through us for years, sometimes through generations. So, that's a really good thing to be able to say to people. But it's true, we've been here for 20 years. Many of our tenants have taken that ride with us, and we consider them our friends as well. It's great to have those relationships from both landlords and tenants, actually. So if you're looking to rent your property, make sure you deal with someone with boots on the ground, local, good references, check Google, check all agents, see what people are saying about them. Have a chat with them on the phone. Do they know their area? Do they know about the schools? Do they know about the location? What is the local market like for lettings? You'll get a very good gut feeling by speaking to someone, whether you're being sold a line or whether they're genuinely discussing the situation with the market locally. Being real. One of our core values, I always say, is being real. Telling people how it really is here on the ground, what's really going on, rather than just flowering it up and saying, oh, everything's lovely if you come with us. It's not real life, is it? Especially not in lettings. There's so many connotations, so many things can go right and wrong along the way. And a good letting agent should be there to hold your hand and support you through the good and bad in that. So I hope that's helpful to you, and I hope that answers your question, Jane. In terms of the day today, lots of offers come in from the weekend, I'm really pleased to say, and lots more instructions coming on as well. So really busy times. Sorry to hear about Wales. They were leading the way in terms of price rises as well. Things were absolutely flying up there, lots of people moving there, and now they're locked down. Very frustrating for them. So my heart goes out to you if you've got a house to sell and you're in Wales right now. It's tough. But unfortunately, as I said, many times we are dictated by this pandemic in too many ways. Hopefully it won't come here in London. And sooner we get that vaccine, the better. Huh? So I hope you have a great day today. Look after yourselves and your family. And if you have any questions, as always, do get in touch. We'll speak to you soon. Take care.